It's hard to believe that just a few days ago we had a nighttime temperature of 60 degrees. We've had over a 60-degree swing in the past week or so. We live here in central New York. We're about 25 miles from Syracuse and 25 miles from Utica. And if you follow Nicole Pitt of Boonville Flower Farm, she's about 25 miles north of us. Now around noon today, we went to Syracuse to go out to eat, and we really didn't have any snow here at the time. No snow out in Syracuse. We came home to this. I would say it's almost 10 inches. So in 4 hours, we got about 10 inches of snow. It must have been a total whiteout here. We were getting alerts on our phone, and we actually even got an alert that there was a lightning strike, which can sometimes happen. It's a little rare. But anyway, this is what it's like living in central New York. Our frost date is usually around the beginning or mid-October for our fall frost. And then realistically, we can't plant outside until Memorial Day is pretty much a safe bet. You can do it a little earlier, but that's what the USDA zone map says for us in zone 5. So when I'm planting my garden, it's real important that I take all of this into consideration, because my garden looks like this almost 5 months, 6 months out of the year. If it's not covered with snow, then it's just brown because it's fixing to snow or getting ready to snow or thinking about snowing, or it's miserably cold. So when I plan my garden, winter interest is a major consideration. Good morning, everybody. It is January 3rd, 2025. Last night we spent a few hours shoveling the 10 inches of snow that we got during the afternoon. This morning we woke up to this beautiful landscape, only to find out that we got another 6 inches of snow last night, so we're going to be shoveling our way out again this morning. Seems like Mother Nature's doing a good job of making sure we keep our healthy New Year's resolution of getting exercise. When planning for winter, most people just think you need to consider what plants look good. You know, looking for berries and evergreen and deciduous and all that kind of stuff. But really, the first thing you need to consider is your maintenance. Because realistically, where are you going to put all this white stuff? You need to shovel paths for yourself. You need to be able to get safely to and from places. So before you even start planning what plants you want in your garden, I mean, you can dream about what plants you want, but don't start thinking about placement or anything like that until you've gone through a full season to see what Mother Nature has in store for you. Because you'd be surprised at how much space you need to clear to accommodate for snow. Now, some of you may only get a few inches of snow, so what I'm about to go through today probably might not apply to you, but you might find it interesting to see how we deal with snow in this area. First thing, we always have shovels. There's a shovel by every door because you need to shovel your way in or you need to shovel your way out. And it's always best if you can shovel before you walk in the snow. Once the snow, we walk on the snow, it packs it down and it makes it very hard to shovel. So what I'm doing this morning is I'm just going to shovel a basic path to and from the garage so we can at least get that far, and we can get into the garage to get the other equipment out that needs to deal with everything else out here. If you live in town, you probably have someone that you pay to come and plow you out every time it snows. Otherwise, you may find yourself with a tractor and a snowblower attachment. This comes in very handy for clearing out areas of the lawn. We clean this out so the dogs have some place to do their business. We also use it to clean out the driveway. The benefit of a snowblower is that it cuts a path and shoots the snow to the side, eliminating huge piles of snow. It's much more visually appealing than having those giant snow piles. If you have large areas that need to be cleared, you may find yourself using a plow truck. Sitting inside a nice warm cab is much more comfortable than sitting on the outside on a tractor, but it does have its drawbacks. A plow can rip up the lawn, meaning you need to do fix up in the spring. It leaves big piles of snow, which is visually unappealing, and you need to be very mindful of where you are pushing the snow and where you are backing up. Trees have been pushed over and garages have been hit when you're backing up. So all these things can happen when you're using a plow truck. And of course, sometimes you get the plow truck stuck, which means you need to get out the tractor to pull out the plow truck. Having a concrete sidewalk or a paved driveway is excellent. You don't want to snow blow if you've got a gravel path, because that just sends rocks flying, especially if you're heading towards the house. You can end up with some broken windows. Make sure your pathways are nice and wide. And you can see we have a little bit of a problem here by the door. We've got some beautiful hollies right there, but where do we end up having to put the snow? Right on top of the hollies. There's not enough room to put the snow, but form over function, sometimes you make a choice. Another thing to consider is what you're going to use for paving. We've got pavers here, and as long as they stay semi-level, it's not so hard to shovel or snow blow. But the minute they start to heave, it's a real pain if you're shoveling. So just another one of those things to consider. And a deck can get really slippery when the snow is on it. Since we heat with propane, you need to maintain a way for the company to come in and fill your propane tank. So we need to make sure we shovel a path for them. Something you might not think about is the mailbox. We have to maintain a clear path because our mail is delivered in a truck, so they have to be able to pull up and reach in. So that means we can't have any flowers around the mailbox, especially this time of year when you have to shovel or plow it out. You just plow all those plants right up. In areas that get lots of snow, it's important to maintain a space along your house where your vents are. So we have our furnace vent here and our hot water tank vent. We need to be able to make sure that this is free and able to breathe. You don't want the snow backed up on it. You're also going to notice that my shrubs are planted about 5 feet away from the building. That's really important, especially the foundation plantings. Plant far away. You want to allow yourself a pathway to get in, so if you have to do any kind of maintenance, such as snow removal. But this also will allow the snow to fall off the roof and not hit your shrubs, or hopefully, cross your fingers that that works that way. The more snow you have, the higher the snow piles are along the edges of your sidewalk. And that's a lot of work to throw it higher and higher. So a snowblower is an excellent tool to have in your snow removal arsenal. It makes short work of blowing that snow up and over the edges. When we opened the front door, we were greeted to this overhang of snow and ice. Now, these can be very dangerous. There's a lot of weight up there. You don't want it coming down on top of you. So I grabbed a broom handle and I started beating it back
just so that it was level with the house. And you notice that I'm standing underneath the porch so the snow cannot come down on top of me. We'll get back in here later and we'll pull more of that snow down with the roof rake. But right now I wanted to get the front porch cleared and I needed to take care of this overhang so it was safe to get out there and shovel.
We're going to have to get out and shovel this part of the roof because it's relatively flat. There's a lot of weight sitting up there. And unfortunately, my beautiful row of boxwood hedges is right in the way of where all that snow is going to come down. So all of them are going to be smashed, I'm sure, in the spring. I'll do a video in the spring and we'll take a look at it. Won't kill them, but they're definitely not going to be beautiful and full like they have been the past couple of years.
Some of this. So
you ready?
You get the smile.
Here's a big chunk.
Wow, man.
Well, the roof has been shoveled and cleared. There was about 2 feet of compacted snow up there. And it looks like my shrubs may have survived. We'll have to see what happens in the spring. But you can get a better idea of what we now have to clean up. Because now we need to shovel ourselves so that we can get back up here on the porch. But you can see it's backed up onto the deck. Now we get to clean all this up. And this is not fun to clean.
Ladies, I got me a keeper. My husband loves me. He shoveled all that snow off my beautiful boxwoods so they wouldn't be crushed. I love you, sweetie. Thank you so, so much.
When you have a lot of snow on the roof, you may find it necessary to remove it using a roof rake. This allows you to stay back out of the way while you pull the snow down off the roof. You also want to make sure that your plants are far enough back so that this falling snow does not land on them, because that could crush them, break them, bend them, any number of things. Snow is an excellent insulator. The snow that's falling in your garden and covering your plants is maintaining that soil temperature to a nice even temperature, so it's not going through that heave and thaw that can wreak so much damage on your plants. So I'm thrilled that we got all this snow. I just wish it hadn't come down all at once. Typically, we get about 10 feet of snow per year. And obviously, getting 3 feet in one shot can happen. But it's not normal. Normally we get 3 or 4 inches here and there, and every once in a while 6 to 8 inches at a time. And we get snow anywhere from November through April. So we have quite a long season of snow, but it's normally not this much that we deal with. Regardless of how much snow does come down, we do need to budget and plan for it, which means we've got to make sure we've got equipment, and that equipment is ready to go in the winter. Just like you have to have your lawnmower ready for the summer, we've got to make sure we've got equipment to remove this stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shared some tips or things that you might not have thought about if you live in snow country. And I will try to do in a future video some plants that you could plant along the front of your building like this, where this snow coming down really won't do much damage to. Or I'll show you some ways that people around here try to protect their plants for this kind of weather. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and follow along to see more of my gardening adventures here in upstate New York.